to the channel. My name's Jason. Today's video is on my 2017 Corvette Grand Sport Collector Edition. I've had it for a little over a year, so I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of talk about the things that I like and I don't like about the car. There's way more that I like about it, obviously, than I don't like. But anyway, if anybody has any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer those for you. And I just hope everybody enjoys this video. I also want to take a second to thank everybody that subscribes to my channel. I finally hit over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm very excited about that. So it took me a while, obviously, but I have no problem with that. It is what it is. I do these videos for fun, and I hope other people enjoy them. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoys this video, and I am hoping to bring another car to the channel. I'm not certain it's going to happen, but I'm hoping in the next couple of months here that might be able to take place. So I guess we'll see. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoys this video. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the description. And thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. So this is my 2017 Corvette Grand Sport, and one thing that I did change, my particular one is a 3LT package, but one thing that I did change is the front splitter. I have a video about that. I did not like the Stage 1 front splitter, so I did switch to the Stage 2, and I think it looks 1,000 times better. I think the Stage 1 just looked really cheap and plasticky and boring. One thing I will say that I've done to this car, besides adding the front splitter, that what I think is very, very important, is I did wrap my car in Expel. The only parts of my car that are not wrapped with the Expel clear bra protective film is the front stinger, because it is a matte finish, and if I put the Expel over that, it was going to make it glossy, which I did not want, because you can see on the blue hash marks, it actually made it a little bit darker, and they're a little glossier than they already were, which they were glossy already. I also did not do the top of the car. I didn't do the hatch, and I didn't do the back, but I did all of the sides, all of the rocker panels. Everything else on the car has been completely wrapped. I will say they did a pretty good job. They didn't do a great job when they installed it. There are a few little areas that you can see that there's some bubbles, and it's actually on the other side. I was going to do this out at the park. I've already filmed this once, but it was really loud at the park, so I figured I would do it in my garage. But there are some inconsistencies in the quality of work. It isn't terrible. Like, as you can see, here's one right here, and it could be better. But anyway, still pretty good job. But I would highly recommend it, because if you can see right here where my finger is, there's actually a hole in the Expel from a rock. And if I didn't have the Expel, I would have a mark in the paint. So if you plan to track it or anything like that, I think it's highly worth it. And right here, if you can see, there's another little inconsistency in the quality of the workmanship. But all in all, honestly, for what I paid, I'm pretty happy with it. There's one other thing that I would highly recommend. If you get a Corvette, get the carbon ceramic brakes. It makes such a huge difference. I haven't driven it much. This brake dust that you see on here is from about less than 100 miles, but honestly, if I drive down the street and back after I wash the car, it will have a lot of brake dust. The carbon ceramic brakes do not leave all the brake dust that you get with the steel brakes, but I do like the brakes. They still work fantastic. It's just one thing that I would have done differently. So one more upgrade that I've made since I purchased the car is I did add the Corsa Xtreme exhaust, and honestly, I like it a lot better. You can't put it into stealth mode or anything like that like you could before with the NPP exhaust system. But in my opinion, I don't care. I don't drive, honestly, I don't drive that early in the morning, and I don't drive that often. So one more thing on the exterior is I really, really, really love the C7 body style. I know a lot of people that are Corvette purists, as they say, are unhappy with the fact that it doesn't have round taillights. I'm sorry, but I absolutely love the fact that they're not round taillights. I think these look fantastic. I'm very happy with them. I wouldn't be opposed to round ones. I don't think they would look good on this car, though, with the style. But when this thing came out back in 2014 and I saw one, I was like, man, if I can ever afford one, I'm definitely going to buy it. And sure enough, you set your goals and, work hard, and things can happen. And it worked out for me. I was able to get this car, and so I'm very happy with that. But let's go to the inside now. So as you can see, I only have 3,200 miles on this car, And to be honest with you, I start it up real quick, close the door. You know, only have 3,200 miles on this car, so haven't had it and driven it that much. But I will say, you know, the seats have held up nicely. Not very many wrinkles in it after a year. The car still has the new car smell. Again, I only drive it, you know, on Saturday, so of course it's not going to smell too bad. But you know, I absolutely love the 3 LT package. The only real downside I can say to this car after owning it for a year, and I'm going to post a picture of what it looks like, is I kept getting a service rear axle notification here, and honestly it wasn't that big of a deal. I took it into the dealership, they kept it for about a week, basically said they couldn't figure anything out, it didn't seem like anything was wrong with it. But the first time it happened, I wasn't able to drive the car properly. It felt like I had, you know, flat tires in the front. I actually pulled over to see if maybe I had a flat. I didn't. It didn't steer properly, and so it was kind of concerning at first. I've had it happen 2 other times, but it drove just fine. It did cut the power the second time when I had it happen. It did cut power a little bit, but I haven't had it happen since, but it has happened 3 times since I've owned the car. Another thing that I really like about the interior though on this is the little hide screen. You know, a little bit of storage right here, and it works really well, and I, you know, really like it because there's not a ton of storage in here. It's not as bad as some of the other cars, but be very careful. If you have a large phone like I have, I actually kind of got it stuck, and it was a little bit of a pain to get it open, but it wasn't that bad. But it does have a USB, you know, port right here that you can plug into, so that's kind of cool. But it is nice to have this extra storage space. One other thing that I like on this particular, you know, the 3 LT, I believe the 2 LTs have it as well, and it's only available from the 16 model and forward, is you can have front cameras, which really helps. So when you're going in reverse, back up, you see what's behind you, obviously, like everybody has it, and then you have your front camera as well to let you see when you're pulling in. They work really well. Not the best camera in the world, but they do work really well. But I will say, sometimes they don't engage when you're moving forward. Sometimes they do on their own. If they don't, definitely use them. I have tried one time, right after I got my splitter, I did not use it, and I hit a curb. But luckily it was minor and didn't do a lot of damage. Another thing that I really like is the PDR, the Performance Data Recorder, and this really works fantastic if you're on a track because it actually has a built-in GPS, and when you dismiss. So anyway, when you're on a track, it has a built-in GPS, and it will actually, you have to hit finish line, and once you get all the way around the track, it'll mark where you are when you hit that same spot again, and it will actually show up on the screen, which I will also leave. I've got one of those from when we were at Ron Fellow, so I'll kind of show you that, but we can look at recorded sessions. Here's a short one. So it tells you what gear you're in, it shows your RPMs, it does record everything going on inside the car and outside the car, so you will hear all of that, shows your speed, things like that, and you can actually change this from 0 to 60, 0 to 100, quarter mile, 100 mile. You can actually change it to different information, so that's kind of pretty neat as well. It's not a fantastic camera, but it's sufficient. Another thing that I really like about this one is it does have basically the microfiber suede inside. It has microfiber suede on the steering wheel. It has microfiber suede on the A pillars, the B pillars, and I love the diamond stitching on the roof. I'm not sure if it's going to show up, but I really like that. And of course, having a target top, you know, was very important to me as well.
Kirby. There you go. Look to the left as we're coming into 5. Now, Warren, this time into 4, use a little more brake for me, okay? So start applying your brake, Warren, look to your left, get to the apex. Same thing, Dan, get to that apex.
So actually, I forgot to mention, there was actually a couple of things about the car on the exterior that I don't care for. And when I was at Ron Fellows Racing School, they mentioned that every ZR1 that they got delivered to them recently had a different alignment. But I don't like the full 4 fingers that I can fit in between here. And since I've had people on another video when I was complaining about it that said, oh man, your car is lifted and blah, blah, whatever, it's up on a jack. As you can see, I'm walking all the way around. Clearly, there's nothing holding the car up. So I wish that they were a little bit lower. I wish they would have made it like my Camaro is a lot. You just don't have that same wheel gap. Like if you take a look at this, much smaller. And to me, it just looks a lot better. The other thing that if I could change one thing, other thing about it is I wish that it had a front end lift like McLaren and Lamborghini and all those guys. Because even though this C7 doesn't set as low as the C6 does, it still sits pretty low. And there's a little air diverter, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get down to C. It's actually gone anyway, but there's an air diverter that diverts air underneath to the brakes. I've torn it off twice. You can go back and watch my video on the Corsa exhaust. I show where it was flapping. We had to replace it. I got a new one. Within a month, it was already ripped off again just from pulling in my driveway. And as you can see, I don't have a really steep driveway, and I already pull in at an angle. But backing out, I seem to scrape pretty often just because of how hard it is backing out here. And as you can see, everybody likes to park on our streets. So it makes it a little bit tough. And I have torn it off twice. I'm not buying another one. It's only $80, but I'm not going to just buy one every month because it's not necessary. But anyway, that is basically about it on the exterior. Like I said, I forgot those couple of things that I did want to mention. I would love a front end lift. I think it would be sufficient. It would be really significant to have. And I really hope on the C8 that they do put a front end lift on there.